Hello, honorable guests and Bigot Cafe staff, advisors, and participants. Thank you for having us here today. We are Team C. I'm Haruka Takemoto, Keio High School student from Japan.
I'm Xiang from Singapore.
I'm Gabriel Chin from Brunei.
And I'm Ray from Okudoza High School in Japan.
The advisors from Team C are Takayuki Enomoto from Japan and Natawan Tampaibom from Thailand. Now we will explain about our vision for 2035, which is we aim to enhance the global consciousness on environmental problems through education.
We chose education as it influences people in the long term and introduces positive mindsets. In recent years, there has been an increase in the consumption of energy due to increase in population and the use of technology. Energy is produced from various sources of fossil fuels, such as natural gas, oil, and coal. There is a predicted increase in energy consumption from 600 megatons of oil equivalent in 2015 to 1,000 megatons of oil equivalent in 2035. This increase in the use of fossil fuels leads to air pollution when they are being burnt, and as well as water pollution and deforestation when they are being mined. As seen, our increasing use of energy is a serious problem as the consequences in the long term of air pollution and deforestation include global warming, rising sea levels, and an increase in natural disasters. You all know about these issues, but you do not know the appropriate actions to solve these environmental problems and keep driving cars and running your air conditioning, trying to push away these problems. That's why we need everyone to be conscious of global and environmental issues.
So here are a proposal for the ASEAN and Japan country. Firstly, we are funding green technology, teaching sustainable design in school, and supporting international exchange program. So the funding of green technology is the subsidizing of resource that can act as a learning resource, the green learning resource. The green technology explains the type of technology that is environmentally conscious. For example, those parties who are already globally conscious will have already known of the different types of green technology, such as the 3D printers, solar panels, water turbines, etc. I would like to give my classmate as an example. There are students who have already innovative ideas and interest in designing green technology. My classmate was one of them. He had many ideas on different ways he could improve Brunei's energy consumption, because it's a problem that a lot of us face, especially in Brunei. He considered the strengths that our country has, which is the ability to create solar energy because we have a daily basis of sunshine. And I think that if we could address these problems, we could use the energy more efficiently. However, he did not have the right resource to continue with this project. Although he may only be a high school student, the intentions and ideas were there, and if we do not allow students to explore and put themselves into situations that they could lose understanding on the different functions and ideas. From here, the students can begin to think critically of why and how they could fix these issues. So what I'm asking here is for you to fund students' project more regularly by providing resources that are either too expensive or unable for students to get. This funding policy is, however, not restricted to only students, but to those who has innovative ideas, but do not have the resource to carry out these ideas. Secondly, the proposal is to look at the educational system. Now, looking at the educational system and its curriculum, we must consider that there is a likable ability for there to be an increase in students going to and participating in education and school, and that there's predictions that shows that there's going to be a large increase of 66% by 2035 in the energy consumptions. So, although this may not apply to everyone and students, but to those interested in design and technology, I want to share my experience as an international baccalaureate student in design and technology. I will identify the beginning of how I came to know about sustainable designing. It all began in my IB course, which I would like to emphasize is a really successful sixth form course that encourages students to follow the IB learner profile of being knowledgeable, caring, reflective, inquiring, open-mindedness, thinker, communicator, balanced, principled, and risk-taker. I think that because I think that the government should try to adopt these educational system to help students to learn the difference in the international system, because the IB diploma has implemented an obligation for students to keep an active participation in environmental issues and other global issues. They also have a really strict rule, which you have to keep a good mark on a section called the internal assignment in each subject. So these part of the assignments are compulsory, which makes students have to do well in order to pass the entire diploma. So what I'm saying is that these internal assignments allows students they expect students to think about experimenting, implicating themselves into situations, designing and understanding and applying realistic values such as the cost and the feasibility of these designing. The purpose of sharing this is because before I was in an international baccalaureate school, I was in a government school, and before that I was in a private school. So I have some experience that I can compare between the schools, and after coming into this international baccalaureate school, it has broadened my knowledge a lot, because you understand different people's perspective and you gain a lot of more international understanding from individuals. And I think the IB learner profile is a really important thing that everyone can learn to adopt. I've had this experience of multi ways of learning, and although I understand it may be difficult to implement this kind of sophisticated sixth form system into a children learning system. However, you could adopt the way it uses practical activities and the compulsory method to ensure students gain more understanding through applying the concepts. Thirdly, supporting more international exchange program. TYCA is a perfect example of supporting international exchange program. I understand that it has already been practiced in school, and that you should continue this, because from this TYC program, I have learned so much things. We have every single one of us participants have learned different things from each other. We've gained a lot more further knowledge within a week. And an example I would like to use from my school as well is this thing called Borneo Issue Global Conference. It's a conference that looks at exchanging students' ideas on global issues and sharing their opinion and perspective on the different issues that happen around the world. And this is a really good program because it allows students to have multi-perspective and responsibility as a leader. It does this through delegating different roles to students and allowing them to experience different roles from a different country besides their own. This exchange program will share different opinions on the global conscious, therefore raising a lot more different solutions and ideas. And by mixing different cultural people, we will create a more open-mindedness by considering other perspectives strongly influenced by their own culture. Therefore, we could help students build on better understanding and relationship, therefore to promote a healthy friendship and networking amongst each other. By addressing all three proposals, I think it will be successful, giving people more ideas on how to live a more sustainable life, producing ways to reduce the global issues of climate change.
For me, I'm interested in the health of people. So I would like to introduce organic gardens in schools in Singapore, where people grow pesticide-free crops, which, in view of the harmful effects of pesticides on the human body, This is done through gardening clubs that are found in various schools in Singapore, like my school in Victoria Junior College. Through these organic farms, students will be able to learn more about environmental issues as well as healthy living. At the same time, I would also like to introduce the building of miniature wind turbines to students to teach them more about green technology.
Okay, so for me, my actions I would like to host is hosting events, social events among different people in local areas, because we should start off in our own area and slowly build it up to make it more international. Firstly, we would host events concerning the environment issues, which has a theme of environmental global consciousness, and I think they could use it because through these events, it would appeal to the human nature, the social human nature of people to socialize with other people. Through this, people will be able to share their knowledge and amongst each other, and by sharing more knowledge, you can broaden the ideas and the possibilities and the concepts that that could be created. It also creates awareness of different types of issues that individuals may face and want to contribute, and they can share ways they can contribute to each other. It also builds a community among each other because they all share a common interest that they can work together, because cooperation is an essential part of building and fighting a global issue. Secondly is to bring back this similar programs such as TYCA to our local countries, but instead of having to go overseas, which is quite costly, we could do it amongst each other, integrate with each other schools, other types of schools, government schools, local schools, private schools. By doing this, it will allow people to interact with each other, cooperate, and which can be learned from each other's by giving each other ideas. They can share their knowledge on the different solutions, and by bringing this TYCA program, a smaller version of it will allow people to experience some sort of similar environment created. Lastly, as an art student, I personally think that art is a powerful form of communicating ideas, and I would like to collaborate with other art students from different schools who share the same ideas as me, and we could use art to express the importance and stress on the importance of the global issues that we face in our countries, because through a mural, it's done on a large scale, which is usually in a public area, which a lot of people can view. This will allow to attract a lot of attention and create more awareness of the issue. It is also aesthetically pleasing for people to look at, so it's easy to capture their attention.
So now I will talk about my action after I finish this program. And my goal is promoting education on environment problems. I have two ways to achieve it. First, I want to hold a video conference between my school and local school in ASEAN countries to exchange ideas how to contribute to environment. Because in my cram school in Okidozen Islands, remote teaching by using computer such as Skype is already starting, although it is in island. So I read that ASEAN countries can start remote teaching as well. Also, to use the computer, we can connect with other countries much easier and faster and cheaper. And second, I want to establish organization in universities through gathering university students who are interested in environment. Through the workshop with students in ASEAN countries, we can understand each other more easily, as well as thinking how to contribute to environment. And finally, after this program, I have time to go visit to ASEAN countries. So I want to experience the culture and think what we can do to contribute to each ASEAN countries.
At last, I will explain about my action. I have learned about the environmental issues and discussed the issues with students from many countries in TYCA. So I want to share the TYCA's experience to children who don't have the opportunity to study in school. The children is divided two groups. Our first group is the children who don't have enough money to go to school in developing countries. I would like to actually go to the developing countries and share with my experience in class. And also the another group is the students who refusing to go to school because of bullying and so on. I want to share them in online class. I chose online class because I think that they don't want to go out. If I can do these actions, they can have the opportunity to learn the environmental issues and think about it. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Group C. Any questions from the audience?
Thank you very much. You are mentioned about a lot of issue in Asia and around Asia, I think, and you are seems to focusing on environmental issue, right? How when you are mentioning a lot of issue in Asia, which issue or which problem that we need to solve quickly, or the first problem that we need to solve, which one do you think? The environment a problem, or other problem, poverty, such as a problem like that, or terrorism maybe? Can you suggest it which problem that you have to be solved quickly, or a first problem that you have to be solved?
I think the first problem we should really fix is the educational system, because without having the education on how to tackle these issues, individuals are not able to find solutions to tackle other environmental issues, or they will not have the basic knowledge on how to interact with individuals who do not share the same interests. So I think international educational system will really help them build this understanding before, because without having those education, they can cause miscommunication, which can lead to other conflicts between other individuals. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you.
Professor Nishizawa, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have one comment and question. Comment is, yes, you provided a lot of interesting ideas, specific ideas. Small TYCA programs, very interesting, and using video conference. Maybe you can use Skype nowadays. And also that go to, this is some proposal made by a previous group at the Demai Jugyo, that how, I don't know how to translate it in English, but to go to school and have some communication with young kids. And, and in general, the using social media would be very effective way to communicate and educate people. So I'm quite impressed and glad to know that you have very specific ideas. So please think about how to implement. While I think face-to-face communication is very important, or spend days with others is quite important, but as you mentioned, if you take into account the cost, maybe you should have a combination of both. Question is, well, environment issue is quite important, I agree, and but people might have to make some compromise. In Japan, in summer, as you may know, it's a very, very humid. It's like tropical city. Maybe sometimes hotter than Singapore or the Jakarta or Brunei. I've never been to the country, but it should be very hot and humid, perhaps. People feel very comfortable using air conditioning. But that would give a burden on the environment. Can you compromise that comfort? You have to convince people how to balance both. So I think that education could play some role, but what do you think about that?
We can, there is some compromise that has to be done, but we can try to make that compromise less uncomfortable for people. Like in Singapore, they recently introduced this heat reducing walls, as well as we can also use more environmentally friendly eco power, like I mentioned before, the wind power or solar power, which will, there is a need to use air conditioning, but we should make it more environmentally friendly in that sense. Yeah.
I'd like to add on that. From our recent trip to Toshiba Museum, we were able to learn about the technology, the advanced technology with the motion detector, which was able to actually calculate how many people were in the room to be able to adjust the comfort level of the air condition. I think if we could implement this in our own countries, in the equatorial countries, it would really help save a lot more energy, because I think that was a really good technology invented.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Probably a similar question. So you were saying the sustainability and funding green technology such as the auto on or off switch for the air conditioner or the sustainable design could be very important issues to think in the future. For doing so, to do a lot of research study for those topics, you think you need a brand new education program such as exchange programs like this one, right? That's what you said, yes. I guess. That's my interpretation. And specifically, which could be a very naive question to ask, but as you said, you thought this international exchange program was very meaningful and you want to share this experience to somebody. And even you said you had a really good experience at the international school as well. So such international exchange program, what did you feel very important to share with your friends back in your school, for example? So what touched your heart through this tour? That's my question. Could be difficult though. What experience would you want to share with your friends about this part?
Okay, so what I would like to share with the people in my school about this experience is that you have to be a lot more open-minded. It's because I'm in an international school where everyone's already international and they've already been taught the open-mindedness. However, coming to this program, I learned a lot more because the individual students are really hold their cultural beliefs in them, the tradition in them, whereas in my school we are already quite international. So by learning all these really small little things from each and every individual participants of their different cultures, it's really interesting, and they have different moral values, and we understand that there are different moral values, and that if we want to unite as a nation, we need to think about how we could cooperate and having an open-mindedness to understand everyone has different perspective and moral values. So I would like to just say that everyone, I would just like to explain to the people in my school that that you need to put a little bit more effort than we are already putting. Yeah.
Okay, the last question, please.
Okay, so it's probably more of a question about priorities, but why do you focus the scope of education on only environmental issues? That's all.
Why are we setting is your question, why are we setting our priority on environmental issues before education? Okay, we're specifically focusing it on environmental issues because currently not a lot of schools are being educated on the environmental issues. I understand that we are aware of these environmental issues, but they are not aware of how to solve these environmental issues. They don't understand the functions of different technologies, and they don't understand ways that they could solve these issues. So I wanted to directly point it into the direction of environmental issues because we are all facing, every one of us in the world is facing climate issues, and I think it's a really urgent, we put it as our urgent priority, and our group has put it as an urgent priority because we think it's something that takes a while to sustain. It takes a while to maintain it. Whereas in education, we put it as important because we've already entered the education. We're already educating people on how to solve these problems. But we need to just push it a little bit more and educate them on how to solve the problems. Hope that answered your question.
Okay, thank you very much, Group C, for our presentation.